Yeah.
Crazy day. Crazy day. All right, everybody. We're live. I'm sure you all woke up to Dawn screaming, which was planned, by the way. I said, "Oh, Dawn screaming. Let's go live." By the way, I got up my big giant headset that's all cockeyed on again today because, I lost one of my earbuds, and I don't know if I lost it at the gym or somewhere else, but I haven't found it. Opened it up today for the show. I'm like, holy shit, I only have one. Only have one. Very sad.
See, that's the thing about these wireless earbuds that, aren't connected in any way, shape, or form to one another.
But they come in a big case. It's a big case, right? And I went, boop, up. Only one. Oh, we'll go like that. Only one. I'm like, shit, where'd it go? And, if I dropped it and it popped out, okay, but it doesn't really open very easily. It's not in my gym bag, and it's not on my desk.
Yeah. Well, eventually, I mean, what people need to do, that manufacturers of those things need to do, is they need to put like a tiny little GPS locator in each of them, so you can
what we do?
Into a website.
Here's what we'll do. On the outside here, this little area right here, okay, we will we'll just super glue a little AirTag or whatever it is, right? So we can GPS locate them. That'd be good.
Would you look at that? Oh, by the way, I got to push the button. Hold on.
So, Dawn Rule.
Before Dawn Rule,
Software still 30 months.
Still with the Dawn Rule, I would like to say thank you very much. Yeah, well, I mean, there's Sothrasil, who's resubbed. Eric's probably resubbed, but I'd like to say thank you to Sonria66 for resubbing. I hope you enjoyed the non-disruptive ad break that just occurred. Because being subscribed means you don't get to see ads.
That's true.
Well, yeah, but you still get to see the ads when you subscribe after you come back to the channel.
Yeah, whatever.
It's not like it's like, oh, you subscribed, I'm going to cancel this ad. No, it's going through that.
Oh yeah, no, it's only after that ad break. If you subscribe during the ad break, it doesn't just cut the ad break off, I don't think.
Yeah, which it should. Come on.
It should just be like, no ads. Just,
By the way, the land of Asmock is snowy and white. We got about 4 or 5 inches of snow. It's pretty nice out there. I'm looking out the front windows. So the background is appropriate today. Got 8 million birds hanging out at the bird feeder here because, there's nothing for them to eat.
You didn't miss 30 seconds of witty banter. You missed me calling Dawn evil.
Yeah, and she screamed.
That's going to happen multiple times during the show, so don't worry about that.
That's terrible. Terrible. I
mean,
I'm sitting here.
I don't see it as evil, but
we really have to get.
You are evil.
I'm not evil.
We have to drink more coffee to get our holiday mugs done here at the Barista Central.
Just realize, Sothrasil, that evil besets evil. If you're evil to an evil person, they just become more evil.
I'm not being evil to Dawn.
Evil people don't think they're evil. They actually think they're doing good.
I wish there were real world examples of this in any way, shape, or form we could go with, but we're not going to, because that way leads to lots of controversy and shit that we don't want to actually talk.
No, we can do it without controversy, right? Did you guys ever watch the? Did you ever watch the series Lucifer?
I don't think we can.
You ever watch the series Lucifer?
I don't think I have. No, I don't think I have actually.
Oh, it's hilarious because so without giving everything away, right? Lucifer isn't evil. He just punishes evil people. That's what he does. He's a punisher. So, and all the things that he does, he doesn't consider them evil. He considers them, righteous. By the way, yeah, see, TJ's in there. Lucifer's great. It is kind of a It's a good series. It's funny.
Yeah, except for the end. Ending was.
And I haven't watched Lucifer before, so
yeah, it's worth it. But Reacher's over, right? Latest series of Reacher is over.
I haven't seen the episode yet, so
we're not
over.
We don't do spoilers here, but just letting people know it's over. It was excellent. Clark Barr made it
over, or
it's not clear.
So I haven't watched Lucifer, but I have watched Little Nicky.
Nah, Lucifer's much better.
And to be fair, he does release the evil at some point and turns a Pepsi into a Coke. So, you know, sorry for the spoiler there, but, you know.
That is a little bit evil.
Release it is pretty evil. Is that like release the Kraken?
Well, he's the son of it. He says he's meant to be the son of the devil. So, you know, he's trying to be a little bit more evil than his brothers, to reel in his brothers. And so he needs to learn to be a bit more evil and to release the evil. Something Dawn has really, really conquered quite significantly at this point in time.
Oh, so he's releasing Dawn. Got it.
What?
By the way, since my I was gonna send you a box of Clark bars, McLeod, but my children have eaten all of them, and except for one.
That makes sense.
And so I went into
you've earmarked that one for yourself.
By the way, I'm gonna give no. I had one when I got it a long while ago. That's okay. I stay away from the shore as much as I can. It's not a spoiler. But if you haven't seen the last episode for Reacher, it's something to watch. Okay? So you have the one character, and she always has the cool T-shirts, right? She always has the cool T-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The last T-shirt she wears, you can't see all of it, but she's got like a sweatshirt over top of her or something. It's unzipped in a V, right? You can see the Boyer logo. Okay? And Boyer is the company that owns the Clark bar stuff and everything. And they actually use, the reason why it's so hard to make Clark bars, they have to use the original machinery in order to make the Clark bars. They haven't been able to make a copy of the machinery that will generate the Clark bar the correct way. So that when it's down, it has to be fixed. They've got to wait to fix it to run it again. So I just went over to Boyer and I was like okay.
Another instance of this sounds like another instance of how Twix is made. Because the brothers are actually feuded, and now the left Twix is made in a different factory than the right Twix, and they get together at the end.
Eric only eats the right Twixes. I don't eat the left Twixes. Sorry.
I love it when I get 2 right Twixes.
I know. They're so yummy. But, they taste better. And I think the quality is a little higher on those. But she's wearing a shirt with the Boyer logo, which I thought was kind of cool. I noticed it right away in the last ep. And I just went, and right now we are, they are sold out right now in the boxes of Clark bars. So do not get the Clark cups. They're basically a take on like the Reese's peanut butter cup with chunks of Clark bar in it, and they're not good. They're not. It just doesn't give you the feeling.
It doesn't give you the right experience.
We are 10 minutes in, and I still haven't heard what the fuck Dawn wants to talk about.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Much the past few days.
What? I had such a great weekend.
Did you?
Everyone, I went to DC and went to the meet, which was great. There were about 160 people.
Eric forgot about it.
The weather was actually really.
Make it.
I'm so sad.
I know.
Well, there was about 160 people, and the weather was actually really good this year for most of the weekend. Because the previous years, it's been like 10 degrees, 3 degrees, high wind chill. We had a blizzard Saturday night, and so I had to go trudging through the snow with my dad to go to dinner. There was just
snow in DC. That like brings it.
I know, right? Shocker.
It brings it to a standstill.
Yeah, apparently we'll get to that. So, but the dinners were good. Everything kind of went a little more smoothly. The hotel was prepared for the most part. I got to hang out with people. I didn't realize because I didn't do Vegas last year, I hadn't hung out with most of them in a year.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh my God, like actually in person. And we actually found a bar down the street, finally, an Irish pub. The owner's Irish is the only qualification I would give it for being an Irish pub. But down the street was this pub, and that's where we met up Friday when everyone was kind of coming in. And the guy that owns it just loved us. He was like, you guys, you buy drinks, you don't cause a problem, you're funny. Because we've got some like Irish and British guys that are, they come in, and so he's like joking with them about stuff. And they had some good food too. And then next door is a burger place that's open till 4 a.m. And then next door to that is the Black Gay Bar. Because, those three things go together. And
I mean, is it a gay bar that's just colored quite dark, or is it a gay bar that is being apparently specifically,
I didn't
racist
go
in terms of entry requirements? Like, what's going on?
There weren't any. It wasn't.
Like, I'm just wondering. I'm wondering because, like, it's like the way that you describe it makes it sound like that. That's all.
Well, what
you're saying is people like us aren't allowed in there.
Yeah, exactly.
No, they didn't do that. But when I didn't go with them for that part, but because that was after the dinner, and I was just like, it's 11 something. I'm tired. I don't want to walk all the way through the cold to want to turn around and come back, 30 minutes later. It was just on the edge of far enough that I didn't want to do all the walking, which is fine.
Okay.
But they went into the Duffy's, the Irish bar was full. And so they're like, well, once the guy inside's like, once the football game clears up, like half the people are going to leave and there'll be plenty of space. And they're like, okay. So they went to the bar next door to the burger place on the other side, and they walk in, and they definitely stand out because they are the only white people in the bar.
Wow. And
apparently it's a cash only bar. So Merck was buying beers for everyone because he was the only one that had, a couple $100 on him in 20s. So, but they said they had a nice time there, and then they went back to Duffy's, had a good time. Friday night, Saturday night, I guess. I don't know why, but Sunday morning I woke up at 7.
See, are you acting like 7 is late or early?
Like
early. I went to bed at about midnight. I woke up at 7, and I was like, "What the hell?"
See, no, that's I've had like nights out where I've like, come in drunk, fallen asleep, on my bed at like fucking 4 a.m, woken up at 7 and been completely fine and capable of, taking on an entire day. It doesn't happen too often, but it's definitely something that I've experienced. I don't know if anyone else is there.
Yeah, some bacon and eggs.
Like crazy.
See, Eric wakes up at like 3 a.m. So, there's no. I would never. Yeah. I would just stay awake. But yeah, I don't. I go to bed at 10. Wake up at 3. That's pretty much how I operate every day.
I've tried doing that. Like one of the times where I have done that, it has been when I had to wait for a train, like the first morning train. Mm-hmm. And yeah, like staying up, like you do hit a wall, and you do hit a bit of a wall. Like, and if you kind of you're able to cope through that, you kind of hit this natural sort of hyperactivity high sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But then the next wall that you hit, the next hardness wall that you hit, is like 10 times more powerful. And dear God, don't be driving anything, operating any kind of machinery, or be in any situation that you have to concentrate in some way, shape, or form when you hit that wall, because that wall will fuck you up.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Yeah, so Ragnar and I shared a room the weekend, which was fine. We're good roommates.
You didn't kill him, did you?
No.
Okay, that's good. I have to ask these days. I get told
What?
things and I hear things.
I'm not evil, okay? No, despite what some people think.
It's not what we've heard.
We went to the Natural History Museum finally.
Allegedly.
We went to the Natural History Museum. We did Air and Space Museum. We did like the planetarium in there because I was like, yeah, the video was nice and relaxing. And I was with Ragnar and another guy from our corp, and they both almost fell asleep in the video because Neil deGrasse Tyson is very soothing in a dark room. Apparently, they were like, like I had to wake them up basically when we were finished. The dinner at night was good. Dave Archer was supposedly there, but because his hair is shorter, I didn't recognize him. We planned a coup. Oh, wait, I shouldn't talk about that, should I? It was really funny. I was just like, hey, coup me. How about we make a coup and then you can be coup me, coup me. And so then they started like
Was Kate around?
No.
Coup's only really happened in early January. You should know this, Dawn.
Yeah. Well,
well, she's planning for next year.
No, against Asher, not.
Okay. Let me just note this down.
And you know that I'm with nerds. When I look at Sopleb and Kazner, I'm like, what would it take to do a coup? And they, not skipping a beat, were like, okay, well, you'd have to get this person on board, and these 5 people have shares. You got to get them voting together, and then you can do it. And I'm like, no questions, no worries.
The other patrons in the bar overhearing.
We were in our own dinner.
Very weirded out what's going on.
We were in our own dinner. We weren't in a bar. We were at the banquet hall.
Right.
And then, so I decided this year to stay till Monday, and that's when all the fun gets to start. Oh my God. We knew that there was some weather coming, but Hyper Viper's like, oh, it'll probably hit like Tuesday. You guys will be fine. And we're all like, yeah, probably. A lot of people left Sunday. But Tuesday crew, a bunch of us had flights around the same time. So we're like, let's all go to the airport together. So we all, headed over to the airport in like 2 or 3 Ubers. Some of us went through security together. We're like, okay. I'm like, I've got like 3 hours to my flight. We'll just go, like, let's find a central kind of bar. We'll just hang out together. And we get there
about coups.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm sitting there. We're sitting there, and my flight's supposed to be at 3:00, and I get a text saying it's now delayed till 5:30. I'm like, no, and it's snowing outside, and we can see that. And then another person's like, my flight's been delayed till 7, and another person's is my flight's been delayed an hour. And we're all like, uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. And what the funny part is, I'm going to backtrack a bit. Ragnar that morning woke up and he's like, I want to try and get out of here before the weather. There's a flight at 11:30 I'm going to try to hit. And it's 9:30 already. And I was like, okay, if you think you can make it, go ahead, buddy. So he buys the ticket, gets in the Uber. On the way to the airport, he realizes the ticket was for the wrong day.
Oh.
So he's like, I guess I'm stuck with my 6:00 flight tonight. So he was going to be waiting in the airport forever. Because I was like, yeah, just come back and have breakfast. He's like, nah, I'm already almost here. I'll just stay here. So
I can possibly understand why people get on flights drunk when, say, their flights have been delayed, or they're in a group who are on separate flights and all of those flights have been delayed, and so they all decide, you know what, we don't know how long they're going to be delayed, but let's just go to one of the bars in the airport
they're really expensive,
get some drinks and stuff while we wait. And then they wait like 5-6 hours, and by that time they've had a fuckload of drinks, and you're fucking smashed.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, oh shit, I need to get my flight. That's actually being called. Fucking bye.
I will say, if you go to the Reagan Airport, there is a Goon Swarm sticker now on the underside of a table. If you find it, take a picture of it.
There you go.
But one of the ASCII people stickered the airport. So she was like trying to be real subtle about it.
Yeah.
So McLeod brings up drinking when your flight's delayed. There might have been a time when I'm
just saying it's something to do
delayed.
With people, with friends.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Well, there was a time I was bringing a buddy of mine home from, Kansas City, back to Pittsburgh, and we had gone to college together, and he was coming home with me, and he's like, "Oh, we'll just get to the airport early because it's gonna be a busy day. We'll make sure we got everything on a flight and all our stuff gets where it's going." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool, that's fine." Now it's a direct flight, which is nice. And of course, we're there so early, we end up in the bar, right? And so, we're drinking. Okay. And if you've ever been to Kansas City, most of you haven't, literally there's a bar, there's a hallway, there's the boarding area sectioned off by like plexiglass wall type stuff, right? So you just you just go right through security right onto the plane, right? So we're sitting there and we're drinking. I'm like, dude, we better get on the plane. He's like, okay, I'll meet you right there. I'll be right there. So I leave. He's still in the bar. It ends up, I'm on the freaking plane. He's not there. They're about to close the door. And I call the stewardess over and I say, hey, there's somebody supposed to be here. He's probably in the bar right across from, where we check in. We can't leave without him. Drunkest I have ever been on a flight. I mean, we are so drunk, right? I mean, it's lucky we had a flight to sober up before we got home. But yeah, and she goes to the front. She's going to go out to the bar and get him. I mean, they're going to go get him. I don't think they're supposed to do it, but I think she was going to go get him. He's the last person on the plane, right? Coming in. She goes, is your name Dave? And he goes, yeah, it is. He goes, we're waiting for you. Get back there in your seat. He comes and he sits down. He goes, I told you made it. I said, I sent the stewardess out after you. He goes, oh, that explains why she was so mad when I was coming in the door. But yeah.
I mean, if you're delaying an entire flight, people will get really pissed.
Oh. But he didn't delay the flight. But
a wild dirt.
He would have. A wild dirt. Wow.
Okay, so I'm
being quite civilized today. I'm not sure you can call me a wild duck, but we'll see how the show goes.
So I'm in the airport, waiting with everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then, some people are like, Dilana gets on her plane for 3:00, and she flies out, but they're having to de-ice everybody, and they only have one de-icing truck for the entire airport.
And that
I want you to
smells
think
so
about
good.
that. How many planes are? And think of how many planes go out of Reagan. I was like, oh my God, this is going to take forever. So then Sopleb gets to the airport with Jarvis, and we all kind of have a group. And slowly but surely, people go off to their planes, and we're just hanging out. We moved kind of down to different food venues because Sopleb is a fucking eating machine. I'm surprised he's not 800 pounds because he eats so much, but he's 6'7", so it makes sense.
I mean, he's 6'7", and he probably has a ludicrous metabolism as well.
Yeah, so. He's very, very tall. So eventually it gets down to me, Sopleb, and Jarvis. And we're sitting there watching the live tracking of planes to see, did our plane even fucking leave the other airports to come here?
Yeah.
And when they did, we're like, yes, we have a chance. But everybody else, Ragnar sat on the tarmac for about 3 hours, and then he took off. And then they closed the runway, and so everybody else had to wait 3 or 4 hours in the plane, waiting their turn to get de-iced. Well, then it gets to my turn. I'm like, okay, my flight's fine. I got delayed till 8, basically 8:00 is when I got delayed, and my flight was supposed to leave at 3. So I got out of my plane. I get on, and because I didn't pick a seat, they assign you. I got literally the last seat on the plane next to the window. I'm so claustrophobic back there, just squeezed into the window seat. And I'm like, I'm not happy about this. But as long as we go home, I can sit here uncomfortable for the next few hours.
I don't mind planes so long as they either, one, don't catch fire, two, don't like, start falling apart.
Suddenly rapidly decompress.
Or three, don't land on other planes. Like, there's normally those three things I
as long as we cover those, we're good.
Are you referencing something?
Not at all.
It might be referencing things, yes.
So I'm
this is just like less than 3 weeks into the year. So,
Right.
So I'm sitting on my plane. We're all getting on the plane. Most everybody's on. There's a couple people from the gate coming down. One guy, he gets on and he's got his bag, but it's been tagged to go to be checked instead because we're running out of space. Well, he's getting in his seat and the flight attendant is back by me at the back of the plane. So she yells across like, "Sir, you need that bag is tagged. It needs to be checked." And he goes, and he doesn't say anything. She's like, "Sir, you need to take that back to the gate." He's like, "Don't have an attitude with me. I know." And she was like, "Oh, hell no." All of us in the back of the plane were like, "Ooh," because you do not yell at flight attendants at all. They will literally deal with no sass. So she basically stomped down the aisle and kind of guided him to go take his bag to the check. And then she called her supervisor. So the supervisor for American Airlines flight people comes down the gateway and she's like, "Sir, you'll not be flying with us today." And thank God he didn't put up a hubbub about it. But basically he was like, she didn't need to talk to me like I'm 5. And it's like, motherfucker, we have all been here for 5-6 hours as well. Shut the fuck up, get in your fucking seat. That's all you had to do.
There's a level of Don's talking about all of these issues with airports and what have you, and I'll be honest, I don't care if I get stuck in an airport or even stuck on a plane, as long as there's a consistent supply of, yes, I can have a drink, thank you.
Yeah, and the flight attendant was giving out water and stuff.
I said a drink, Dawn. I didn't say hydration.
We just got on the plane. They're not allowed to search. We're doing full drink service. I'm sorry.
But if they said, "Sorry,
I am quite happy
sir, we don't serve Bloody Marys."
No. Right. I don't expect a Bloody Mary on a plane. Jesus. There's a level of realism that we have to live with here.
Seem to expect Bloody Marys wherever.
Apparently.
See, the only thing I want out of a flight is that I don't have to fold myself into a seat.
What? 50 miles in Serengeti? No, 50 miles from civilization, and I can't get a Bloody Mary? What the fuck has this world come to?
See, I'd be willing to bet that I could get a Bloody Mary somewhere in the Serengeti.
Probably, yeah.
And in fact, when I was flying to Helsinki and back from Helsinki as well last year, I actually could get a Bloody Mary on the plane, McLeod, just as a point.
That's a decent airline.
But in all seriousness, it's one of those things of if you want me to sit in an airport lounge for 3 hours, fine, as long as I can have a drink. The
airport part actually wasn't a problem.
If you want me to sit on a plane in the tarmac for 4 hours, yes, you better be able to give me one of those little bottles of whiskey or something, please.
So the guy gets kicked off the plane. And the rest of us are like, okay, let's just please don't hold this plane up. Let's go. Because we know we got to get the ice.
Was that the guy who you
yelled at the flight attendant? Yeah.
Okay.
So we sit in the plane, not even away from the gate. We have maybe rolled back the wheel once, not even ink. Yeah. And we're sitting on the plane for about 50 minutes. And they're like, "Hey, we're going to take everybody off the plane because we don't know how long it's going to be for us to get into the de-ice line and not have you guys sit here and wait." And we're all like, "Oh, okay, great." And then as we're deplaning, they're like, "Oh, and also our co-pilot has timed out. So we got to find another co-pilot." And we're like, "What? It is almost 9 o'clock something at night. And with this weather, we're not going to find a co-pilot." So I made sure to grab both my bags, rolled back up, sat down in a chair, and as I sat down out in the lobby, I get a text saying my flight's canceled. I'm like, motherfucker. Okay. Now I gotta wait in line with the customer service.
Yeah, it was canceled as you were deplaning.
As I was getting off the plane. Yes.
That's hell.
Yeah. Then I had to go to customer service, and I was like, okay, they're gonna give me a new ticket for tomorrow probably. And then I'll see if I can get a hotel voucher, because technically it's not because of weather, because all the other planes, everybody else flew out, but me and Sopleb. Everybody else made it out just like 3 or 4 hours later, but everybody else made it. Just me and Sopleb are the only ones left at this airport because both of our crews either didn't make it or timed out. So they give me a hotel voucher. They booked me for literally the same flight the next day. I was like, no big deal. They're like, go down to the shuttle and it'll take you to the hotel. So I get on there, wait for the shuttle. The first one's full. All right, I'll wait for another one. 10, 15 minutes later go by. Second shuttle comes through. It's also full. I'm like, damn it, I don't want to be out here for an hour and a half waiting for a shuttle. So I go down to like the first shuttle pickup stop. And as the third time the shuttle guy comes through, he's like, oh, the hotel is full. We're not taking any more vouchers.
Oh.
I'm like, motherfucker. So I'm like, okay, I'll go upstairs to the desk and see if they can give me a different hotel or something, right? So I go upstairs, and it's, of course, where I was at was the furthest.
This is where Dawn ended up on a different flight out the same day because they just wanted to get rid of her at this point.
No. So I'm on the other end of the airport from the desk. So I walk upstairs.
I will say, just real quick, Teutonic in Twitch chat, talking about the director's letter is the name of the show.
You guys will get to talk about it eventually.
Cue Dawn talking about her airport troubles for 40 minutes.
It's not over yet, though. That's the sad part. This is not even done yet. But don't worry, you guys will get to talk about it.
By the way, this is Eve related. This is Eve related. So
we're not doing an entire hour. Fucking hell.
Yeah. So
Dawn's got 5 minutes to finish this up.
Yeah.
Okay.
5 minutes.
So I walk down to the desk, and there's like 50 people in line. I said, fuck it, I'm not poor. I called Hilton. I was like, book me a night at the hotel I just stayed at. And because like I knew that they were gonna have rooms. And so I booked the hotel. I go downstairs to Uber. Ubers are $72 to go like 10 minutes. I was like,
welcome.
That's like half the cost of my hotel room. Fuck this shit. I was so mad. But then as I'm standing like debating, like, should I wait a little bit, maybe get a better price as I go? So Pleb's like, my flight canceled too. Where are you staying? And I'm like, I got a room. We can get 2 queens. So Sopleb comes downstairs. He books the Uber, and we trundle back off to our hotel. And everything else was like, after that, everything was super smooth. Like the next day went fine and everything, but
half of 72 is not bad. Like at that point,
yeah. Well, and then he split
that. But it's funny. He's like,
to the room.
I'm no poor. I'm going to get a hotel in the Hilton. How much is the Uber? Okay, yeah, I am poor now.
Well, it's like just another
it's also
fucking.
Funny because the same Dawn told me today, "Oh no, I'm not coming to the meet like this year because
I have no money."
Are you gonna pay for that?
Well, she spent money on the Hilton and half of the Uber, so you know.
It was a Hilton Garden Inn. It wasn't a full Hilton because that one was full. And but anyways, like so the next day everything went smoothly.
If you were on the first shuttle, you would have probably gotten
I might have gotten a room. It was kind of hit or miss. I don't know, but I might have gotten one. So, but it was just like one thing after another, after another, after another. And then everybody else made it, but me.
I would call the airlines and say, hey, they weren't taking any more of these things that you gave me, but I had to stay at the Hilton. I need you to count my Hilton. Absolutely.
Yeah,
you didn't complain on Twitter.
Absolutely.
I keep meaning to do that, but I'm kind of like meh.
So you didn't complain, and after all of this, you didn't complain on Twitter and at them in any way, shape, or form.
No, I don't have Twitter.
See, this is the thing, you know. They'd have come back and be like, "Oh, we're so sorry for your experience, etc., etc. Have X, Y, Z on us next time you know."
I mean, you know, I had like as I said, the next day perfectly smooth. Uber was great. Flight went out on time. I actually ended up with nobody in my row, so I had all the seats to myself on the way back.
Those are nice flights.
Although to be fair, if you did complain on Twitter about it, then the NSA probably would have tweeted after, or, like in that
coup talk,
that conversation, and been like, "Yeah, next time you come to DC, don't talk about coups either."
Didn't even think about it then, but that's funny. So the weekend itself was fantastic. Weather was great the whole time. The leaving was awful, but I will say I got to spend a whole extra day with all my friends at the airport. So it could have been a lot worse. despite all the troubles and issues, I still got to see people that I only get to see once or twice a year for an extra day. And like, that's just how I decided to take that day. Because other people, like, there was a grown man crying because his flight got delayed. There were just people like sleeping on the floor. Like, there was so much drama and people are getting angry. And I'm like, I can't fly a plane, so, you know, fuck it, whatever. Like, I got to, like, one of the guy, Jarvis, was like, oh, here, pulls out his computer and just starts trying to teach me coding while we're sitting there. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I was just wondering, if you could fly a plane, would there have been a possible avenue there for you? Like, fuck it, I will co-pilot. Let's go, guys.
Absolutely.
That's like a whole thing, like all those small engine planes, right? You rent those. You don't generally own them. They just like a rental car, man.
No.
I don't think you would have wanted to fly in any of that weather, but yeah.
Some celebs like actually timeshare like Learjets and stuff. Like, you know.
Oh yeah, well yeah, that's a whole thing. Yeah, there's
yeah, it's a deal.
There might be a certain bank that Eric used to work for that owns one of those timeshare companies that leases them. Yeah, you have a little card. Yeah, you put so much money on the card, and you just call them up. Hey, I want to fly from here to here. Okay.
Just make sure you're not just make sure you're not using the plane after somebody who's notoriously ludicrous psychopathic party animal, because like the interior of the plane might be fucking wrecked at that point.
They clean. You're okay. There may have been an NFL quarterback that Eric might be familiar with, and a bunch of guys that were going over to Ireland and Scotland to golf. Right, they were going to golf St. Andrews over there and things like that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And they were going to use, the private jet thing. But when you're flying that far and you're staying there a week and you're coming back, what you have to do is you not only do you pay the cost of the pilots to fly you there, right, and back,
but also their accommodation as well.
You have to, right? For the week that they're there, you have to pay the accommodations and their per diem and everything. And they're like, for that, we might as well just fly commercial. But they were like, I don't know, I think there were 8 of them or something like that were 8 or 12 of them. I can't remember, going over there to golf. And they made that decision. It was pretty wild.
Right. Well, that is pretty wild. I would say that like 38 minutes past the hour, I think we should probably,
actually talk about something.
Yeah.
Oh, now you guys want to talk about Eve? Every fucking week, I'm like, let's stop the Dawn rule because there's something happening. And you're going
to Dawn, like, we are now 17, 18, something, like, nearly 20 minutes past the Dawn rule threshold. And you got a bunch of time about your airport thing. If that's what you want to talk about this week, that's what you want to talk.
You're gonna get a whole hour.
You're experiencing how we approach you when you keep on wanting to talk about Eve. This is our experience. Like, I want to talk about Eve, and you go, no, I want to talk about other things other than Eve. And it's like,
what you're getting now is what happens when we talk about food.
I just want to point out, we don't really want to talk about the letter because, like, there's not really anything in there.
That's what I was going to say. There really wasn't much in there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I want to talk about a little bit, at least. Is like just how
there are some other things as well.
Things that we're not going to point out specifically that went so great last year, and you can expect more of this, like, vague things being great in this year.
Are we talking about the director's letter?
Yeah.
We've got media on that. Holy shit! Like, we know what the hell we're doing.
It was.
Thanks. By the way, here's we go. Thanks, McLeod.
Yeah, no worries.
For all the links.
They pointed out the next AT, and it's not even a whole sentence about the AT. Not even a whole sentence. It's just like the end of a sentence that has the AT mentioned, right?
I mean, like,
where even is that?
That's way down at the bottom. Our roadmap is merely the beginning, and we have stellar events coming this year, including Capsule Day, which happens every fucking year, Crimson Harvest, which happens every fucking year, Winter Nexus, right? Like, we've not even finished this fucking winter, and they're talking about next Winter Nexus.
Oh, by the way, here it is right here. I'm going to highlight it.
And the biggest Alliance
right
tournament yet. Like,
so there's a lot to be excited about. Just pointing that out, right? There's a lot to be excited about.
I'd love to
every year. Wow.
I get like it's great, right? But also the biggest Alliance tournament. Yeah, I know I said this earlier in.
There's so many ways of being able to categorize it as like. There's so many ways, Dirk. Like to categorize biggest. Like
I don't understand how they are going to manage that at any point. Because if you take a look at the historical. If you take a look at the historical pattern of the AT, the biggest AT they ever had in terms of teams that signed up was something like 92, 93 teams. This was back at AT15, I think, AT16, when they did the idea of feeder round. And that was where that kind of whole idea came from with CCP Logibro. And so 92, 93, somewhere in that region team. More than 90 alliances signed up for an alliance tournament that had 64 slots for teams in the actual event.
Yeah, but like you're running on an
hasn't
assumption.
Seen 64 teams at all in the last like fucking 5 years, and that includes a couple of years of hiatus, sure. But like the Anger game this year is only just getting back to the capability to allow for 64 teams after the last couple of years of rebuilding the tournament. So, like,
I mean,
but Dirk, you're running on an assumption. You're running on an assumption, though, Dirk. That's the thing.
So, my point is that I don't know how they can make a claim that they will have the biggest Alliance tournament yet this year when they haven't even managed to get back to a baseline of 64 teams that was the Alliance tournament for fucking 10 years.
It's because you're running on because you're running on an assumption that biggest means most amount of teams. That's not ever normally the case.
Look at the alternative. If they truly want to go for most amount of matches, they will have
That's
to.
That's also an assumption.
It's also how else would it be bigger? In what other way could the AT be bigger?
I mean, corporations, dude. They will take something that was said in a sort of somewhat ambiguous way, and basically just go like, well, it was the largest because it was the largest. It was the biggest because I know, but like they kind of say it's the biggest because we put the largest budget towards it this year.
But we don't allow for that corporate bullshit.
Well, we don't. Yeah, but like they do, they're fine with it. They'll be fine with it saying that. Like
that corporate bullshit can go fuck itself. Basically, if they can't actually pull off something that is bigger than their historical benchmark for the most amount of teams, the most amount of matches for teams, the largest prize pool, if they can't pull out something out that's actually observably better than any point in the history of the AT, and the history of the AT goes back to like 2006.
Yeah,
so there's a lot to beat.
There's a lot of yardsticks there for us to measure.
Got a whole
lot of yardsticks. There you go.
Eric, can you eat those Clark bars a bit quieter?
So yeah, that was one of those things where I'm like, right, CCP, you've made a statement that makes no sense. There's no way, but like even as Sothrussel was kind of getting at, if they adopt our format, our slightly crazy format, which allows for us to have 64 teams running like at least 3 matches a team, which is more than most people normally get in the AT, because the AT historically double elimination, you get 2 matches, and if you lose both, you're out.
Plus,
so like
the AT runs on the real servers, and they have 20-minute run times instead of 15. And our format has in the end nearly 140 matches. that is impossible for CCP to do.
CCP, I don't know how they would possibly manage it and stay sane. I don't think we'll be sane by the time we manage it, that's
they don't have the manpower to run all those matches. I think if they come around and come to us and be like, hey, would you help out with this? Sure, then they could do it if they get player support to run it. But I don't think they're going to do it because
it's a lot of people.
The actual matches outside of feeders have always been run by CCP
GMs.
Employees. Yes, by GMs.
GMs, and then the occasional actual CCP are overseeing. So yeah, it's one of those things where we put it together on a shoestring basically, but we push the boundaries, and CCP have not shown a significant willingness to push boundaries when it comes to tournament stuff in recent years. So, I mean, fair play. We love having the Alliance tournament, and I would rather they stay within their boundaries and we keep the Alliance tournament than they push beyond the boundaries and we lose the Alliance tournament again. But, God, making statements, wild statements, like the biggest Alliance tournament yet, you've got to pull your finger out and come up with something very spectacular to actually justify that statement. And I don't think CCP Burger or CCP Rotati will be involved in doing anything around the Alliance tournament. So I think they're just kind of talking out of their ass, basically, on that front. But coming back to some of the more interesting points, having just spent 5 minutes ranting about tournaments. The whole theme of this letter is, as kind of Sothrisol mentioned, it's a bit of a nothing burger with a couple of interesting points thrown in. They've talked a lot about what they've done this year already. You know, the couple of expansions that we had with Havoc and Viridian, was it?
Yeah,
yes.
It was.
Were those the two this year, or was Viridian last year and then something else came in between that and Havoc? And they have done a lot of expansion with faction warfare, with the insurgencies. It's all great stuff that we saw in last year. But half of this letter is just them talking about shit they've already done. No, I get it, right? You wanna take a look back and make sure that you
it's kind of like a bookend, and then sort of like here's some exciting tidbits for the future sort of thing. Right?
Yeah, but if you give us exciting tidbits, then actually give us something.
Yeah.
Right? It's not even hinting at things.
I mean, they've said that they're new technology and resources that will give players the opportunity to build and customize this space in nullsec. But it's that could be almost anything. That could also be basically a rehashing of what we already have at the moment. You could just be well, yeah, we're just removing iHubs and we're replacing them with new new versions of it. Of iHubs, right? And that would be that's just that's just a replacement of iHubs.
I mean,
anything new, right? Yeah, or new opportunities to skin your iHubs. That's it.
Guess what, guys? Now you can paint your iHubs bright pink. What an incredible expansion of that feature that is.
Soon everything in EVE will be pink.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look. CCP, they want this game to be massive, grimdark. And turns out the player base just want pink keep stars and bunny ears.
At some point, at the peak of all of this, somebody needs to take a picture of it and send it to the previous CCP director of art or director of art director.
I'm pretty sure Jintan will be fine with bunny ears as well.
And Jintan will be happy with any sort of ears that aren't human. I think is the kind of summation of where Jintan's position is. But yeah, I mean, on the whole thing of like the nullsec, new technology and resources give players the opportunity to build and customize their space in nullsec, creating new conflict drivers and objectives. All right, great, but what does that actually do for us?
The thing is, I do like the sort of like the Skinner stuff that they are like coming out with, because we've said this countless times on this show, like, can we get X, Y, and Z on our ships? That'd be great. We would actually literally throw money at you guys for doing this. And they're finally fucking doing it, but they decided to do it in a way where we can't throw money at them. We have to jump through fucking in-game hoops.
Yeah.
And it's it's sort of like, thank you very much for bringing it in, but like you just
like one of the main reasons why
this is the thing. It's like, one of the main reasons why we said please bring this in was because we can give you money for it, and we won't mind about giving you money for it because it's cosmetic and cosmetic only, and doesn't provide an in-game advantage to just throwing money at you. And in that way, you guys can get money for doing stuff rather than like not getting money for stuff, which seems to be their MO for some reason. I don't know why.
I mean, we've said this on the show before.
I just find it funny. I'm glad that they're doing it. I'm disappointed that they didn't see that this was an avenue that they could be. This was an avenue where they could actually literally do the greed is good thing and not have people, riot in Jitter. And they decided not to, which is this.
Well, this is the thing. They've always been.
My mind.
That there have always been some great merch options.
Yeah.
That like every time I come back to the example that over at one of the INN editorial staff meetings that we had back in like 2017, we were looking at the merch store.
Damn.
For the Eve for the like the actual merch store, and it all ran out of the US. So basically, there was a watch on the merch store that was made in Iceland. It was designed around Eve. It was like, they were all numbered, that kind of thing. And the watch was something like 120, 130 euros. So not cheap, but it was a cool piece of merch. Yeah. And if you ordered the watch, not only would it cost you about the same amount in shipping, it would ship. It would ship from Iceland to a distribution center in New York, to then go to a distribution center in Germany, to then come to the UK.
It was a bit mental as an idea. It's like you're going halfway, you're going 2/3 the way, like basically the distance, 2/3 the way around the world, just to go from Iceland to the UK.
Exactly. Like it was one of those things where, like, for the cost of that, you could fly to Iceland, buy the watch, and fly back from the UK with, like, going back to the airport story, some of these cheaper airlines literally would do you a round trip to Iceland for like £80 at the time. So, like, you would spend less flying there yourself and buying it in the shop that they make the watches at than you would spend buying it on the Eve store. It was.
Sir, do you have
they've
any
never
watches
liked
to declare?
Money. They've never liked money.
It's so weird, right?
It's that bit of. For example, how many fucking goons or brave members of old, if they had like a Rifter Airfix model, how many people would have bought a Rifter and painted it up and like fucking loved it? Would have been.
I'm still waiting for my Macario.
And that's being made that's being made by a player and being sent to you at some point, maybe, sort of, hopefully. At this point,
the thing is very much like you say with Airfix models and stuff. You don't need to sell these things built and to a high degree of like thing. Like a lot of geeks out there come from really really enjoying Warhammer 40k and love the idea of putting it together and painting it themselves and stuff, right?
Yeah. You get to build your own skin on your own Airfix model kind of thing. And like, these are simple ideas that CCP have never managed to implement. And it's money on the table that has been left wanting. And we've consistently complained about this because they just don't. Like, we say, hi, we would like to give you money for skins in game. And they go, right, they want skins in game.
Here are the hoops you have to jump through.
Let us make a system that has hoops for them to get the skins that they want in the game. You know, it's shocking how bad CCP is with the whole monetization aspect, because they always seem to have to make it overcomplicated. I don't get it. Like, I just don't get it. How difficult is it to go, okay, here is a B skin that you can spend money on in the New Eden store, or like you spend money on Plex and then you buy it in the New Eden store, whatever. That's an exchange that we can all be happy. But no,
the thing is,
you need to go out there and you need to do things in the game to earn this random, not quite a cryptocurrency thing, such that you can then redeem the ability to rent this skin for a month. Like, what? Sorry, what?
Yeah.
Just let us pay you. Please. Let us hand this over and you give it to us permanently and we all go away from this happy.
So
Dirk, hold on.
I have a slight issue with what you say in that regard, with the permanency of skins, Dirk, in that regard. Like, it could. I understand that this could be somewhat of a controversial thing, but I have seen the issue of like, sort of cosmetics and stuff like that in games, just making games become kind of like a Lego fest, if you know what I mean by that, Dirk.
I don't care.
You don't care?
Well,
I mean, to some degree, some people care. I understand that. Like, I understand, there are people out there who don't care, so long as, the monetization aspect of, making sure that people making the game get paid and can, continue to do so. That's fair enough. That's fine. I'm just saying that there is a point at which, if you're just making, if your game is, if the amount of money that the game makes is subject to, cosmetics all the time, then at some point you're going to get to the point of logical cosmetics. You'll get to the point of logical cosmetics, and then you have to go beyond logical cosmetics in the game to carry on with funding the games and funding the progression of the game. And then you'll get even further than that, and then it basically becomes like some of those fucking VR games where it's just complete insanity, right?
Because CCP is still getting money for.
No, I know that, but I know that, Soth. I'm going on a tangent.
I appreciate that there's a level.
What I'm saying is
there's an end point that
if you get rid of the like permanency of skins, then you start to impart this idea of, maybe you need to rebuy those skins, and you don't price those.
Not
skins
everything needs to be a subscription model. No, I'm sorry, Ubisoft executive number 3, but not everything needs to be a subscription model.
But what I'm saying is, like, I'm not saying that like all of those skins need to stay the same price. They drop in price quite significantly because the fact that they're not permanent. That's what I'm saying. And I mean, I'm not a Ubisoft executive in any way, shape, or form, because I'm not pitching this as an idea of like tying you into crypto, Dirk.
No. See, you're just suggesting that we can't own the things that we spend our money on, or at least even feel like we own them.
You don't own your character anyway, Dirk. You know this already.
But if I spend money for a skin, I get the skin to use for as long as I have the character, right? It's the same way with Steam, right? You pay money to Steam to get the game, and you have the game for however long. But Ubisoft wants to flip it all on your head and go like, nah, you need to pay us every 3 months for your Assassin's Creed subscription.
But that's just fucking bullshit. That's just that is bullshit.
We'll go around and still turn off the server so you can't play those games anymore.
But what I'm saying is, it would be amazing. It would be a fantastic world that we live in if every single piece of clothing that we've ever bought remained perfect forever.
Well,
that would be amazing, but that doesn't happen.
And I'm
just saying that that should be kind of the model in some degree as to sort of cosmetics in game, but it shouldn't be for everything, right? In very much the same way that it shouldn't be the same thing for I
have a code here that I've had for nearly 20 years, and
that's
it's
fine.
Still in pristine condition.
Yeah, but it's
hanging over there.
Yeah, and I'm sure it cost a fair amount because it's very well made. I'm sure you
here we go with
use
the
it all
theory.
the time.
No, I don't use it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So it's subject just on it's subject to the amount of time that you utilize it.
Summer,
Yeah, no, I that's true, and you only use it those few times where you go out, and that's fair enough.
I barely wear a coat in winter. Never mind summer.
But that's the thing. It's subject to wear and tear. It's subject to wear and tear. It's subject to the quality of the product that you purchased as well. So that's understandable, completely understandable.
But at the same time, this whole bit of what we're talking about here. Let's get back to what we're talking about here, which is CCP just don't like money. Because they always make these weird, convoluted methods for us to get the thing that we want to pay for. And then they produce a bunch of shit that we don't want to pay for, and go, well, why aren't people giving us money? It's shocking, really. And yeah, so this whole, this whole developer letter that we're going to expand your ways to express your identity. Just fucking let us buy the skins that we want to buy.
Yeah, it is true.
Just put them on the market. Let us buy them. Let us give you money for them. Don't make them horrendously expensive. There are some skins out there that they expect you to pay 600, 700, 800 plex for.
The thing is, I also don't mind.
That's the price of a reasonable game.
I also don't mind.
I mean, I don't say AAA prices anymore because AAA prices are way out of whack.
Don't do that because then they'll be like, oh, okay, so we want to up the subscription model to $80 per month.
If they made skins just generally somewhere in the region of 100 to 300 plex, so you're talking about £4 to £12 UK. At that point, people will go, well, it's just 100 plex. Fuck it, yeah. Or there's this bundle of skins at 500 plex. That's that's the cost of a monthly subscription. It's 18, 19 quid, something like that. It might actually be around specifically a 19.99, 20 quid point. But a bundle of 3 or 4 skins for 500 plex, that's sort of reasonable. You can kind of look at that and go, well, yeah, 500 plex is a couple of hours work, depending upon what your wage is. But yeah, for these cool skins that I will have for the rest of my time playing the game, yeah, sure, why not? But this whole Skinner thing that requires the what is it, Evermarks?
Evermarks,
which was supposed to be a cryptocurrency until they realized that everybody fucking hates cryptocurrency.
Until everybody realized that the obviousness of what they're trying to do, and then they realized, oh shit, we need to backpedal. And
we don't need that shit. No. We just need reasonably priced skins and the ability to buy them directly. And it's literally that simple. There's no need to justify somebody's wage to make these things more complicated.
The thing is, Dirk, I can understand the desire for, like, say, a game designer to sort of make something more more involving in terms of like gameplay loops and interesting kind of things to do with the skins. Like, obviously the Evermark thing is just bullshit. The Evermark is just basically like a sort of, trinkety thing.
Here's actually an interesting idea on that point.
If you just had skins that unlocked new and interesting kind of stuff as you achieve certain things, that would be really cool.
See, here's an interesting idea on that point. I'm actually happy to speak out into the universe and let CCP hear.
And I think they've done something a little bit like that.
Because we do have a lot of points on this show where we go, oh my god, did you really just say that and speak that into the universe?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff we talk about that we don't want anybody to ever do. But on this front, if you have skins that are reasonably priced, but maybe like a little bit expensive, I was just talking about where a reasonable price for a skin is, landing somewhere between like 3 and 12 quid overall. What if in the gameplay loops you could build a discount into those skins? So like if you go and play this gameplay loop that the game designer has built that creates these weird crypto things that aren't quite crypto things that might actually, have not really have a use sometimes. Yeah. But you engaging in that gameplay loop gives you these Evermarks, which gives you up to a percentage discount on the overall price of the skin when you buy it in the new install.
That would be cool.
So your skin was your skin was 300 plex, but you spent 20 hours grinding this gameplay loop, so you get like a 33% discount, and it's now 200 plex.
Yeah, you're discounting this with X amount of Evermarks, and that'll give you a certain percentage off. Yeah,
and ultimately,
that's cool. That's fine.
Ultimately, actually, what you're doing is you're discounting the cost of the thing that you're looking to buy by spending more time in game.
Yeah, that works. That works for both. That works for both the the people who don't have time to grind and people who do have time to grind.
Yeah, right. There's a kind of level of people who don't have time to grind but have money to throw at the problem, and people who don't have money to throw at the problem but have time to grind. And then somewhere in the middle of that is like people who actually like the content that they create for the grind, and so get a little bit of both in terms of, hey, I had fun playing the content, and now I get like a little bit of a discount on some skins and stuff that's cool, just for, whatever. And Hirebrand in Twitch chat has just had a really good idea in terms of like scan 100 fucking anomalies and you get a Heron skin discount. If you kill 100 ships in a Macarial, you get a Macarial skin discount. That kind of thing. Like there's ways to incentivize usage of things.
Thank you for adding to our our Cosmic Anomaly database. The Society of Conscious Thought thanks you for your contribution. Here's a discount on our SOCT skins.
And these could be specific skins that you get discount on for doing stuff in game, like an Angel Cartel skin for whatever, or as you say, Society of Conscious Thought, or Sisters of Eve skins for the Astero if you use an Astero to do whatever. Like
you've repped 10,000 HP back in ships. Here's a
discount on Guardian skin.
Exactly, right.
And these are cool bits of like, it incentivizes the gameplay at the same time as it incentivizes getting cool skins. And I'm not suggesting that you get skins for nothing. You still pay for the skins, but you just get a little bit less off the top.
You are all missing another thing here. It also incentivizes people to buy these skins.
Yeah.
Yes.
As well.
Because hey, I do have this discount, right? I don't want to let it go to waste.
Screw it, why not? I like skins. This is I wouldn't necessarily pay that much, but with this discount, maybe actually.
Exactly, and I'm sure.
Isn't really, it's a bit predatory, right? I'm just saying that's another positive for CCP.
It's predatory. It's predatory only if every time you log in, it goes, your discount is going to end in 5 minutes.
Oh, you know it well.
Yeah, probably.
That would be the predatory aspect of it.
But like, it's that bit where, as long as there's a functionality for you to acquire the thing for money, just throw money at the problem, because CCP, hey, we actually want you to make money and make a good fucking game. Yeah. Like, let us give you money somehow. But just like these little bits of incentivizing the gameplay and you get something at the end of it kind of thing. It's that bit where not everything in terms of recurrent income needs to be a subscription model or a microtransaction. Yes, a subscription model for a game that's lasted 20 years. Yes, we love... fine, I'll pay the subscription. But, like, don't then ask me to pay a subscription for a skin. Like, fucking just let me pay for it and have my skin and enjoy it. Thank you. It's one of those things where there's... Hippie Grenade suggests if a game resembles a... I'm assuming when you sell a cell game, a phone game, exactly, a mobile game, you're not in good shape. There's a level of... The older we get, the more, like... The more we hate these models, whereas a lot of people who grew up with them just think this is, like...
They're normal.
Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, everything is a subscription model, why not?
A lot of Asian markets really don't blink twice when they see, like, mechanics of mobile games in regular games and vice versa, right? Because they're much more accepting to it for whatever reason, and unfortunately, yeah, I gel with that sentiment of, like, if it resembles a cell phone game or a mobile game, then you're in a bad kind of area. Like, from a
not inherently
user
true,
experience, from a sort of a user experience, but like from a pure business standpoint, like there's a reason why
a lot of developers,
Activision, Blizzard King, are a thing, and the reason why. The unfortunate thing about that is Activision Blizzard King, the people who make the money out of that partnership for by a significant long shot is the King side of the partnership, that particular company, because that particular company owns Bejeweled and all that kind of stuff, and they rake in so much fucking money out of their mobile games. It is ludicrous.
The other side of that we need to acknowledge is that the mobile game aspect, the mobile game market, is significantly larger than the
PC game market.
The wider, well, not even just the PC gaming market, but the wider video gaming market. Like, if you include PC and then Xbox and PlayStation and the Wii or whatever, like the Switch. The Switch, because it's now a mobile thing that can dock to a TV, you can pick it up and put it in your backpack. That's actually opened it up to a lot of people who will, like, play it on the train going to work or whatever. And the mobile gaming aspect, the moment we ended up with smartphones that could play games, you ended up with so many more people actually just playing games. Whereas
the thing is, though, have you ever played a mobile game, like an actual phone that is actually good?
I kind of hate mobile games, I'm not going to lie. But also, I'm somebody who's been playing games on PC and console since I was literally as long as I can remember, basically. So,
I mean, I have a friend or two.
There's a bar that it needs to cross for me to consider it good. But
yeah,
my point there is, just the other day, Soth, there was an article on The Guardian that you highlighted to a bunch of us that actually talked about video gaming in a sensible and sane way.
Yeah.
And one of the stats that jumped out at me from that article was that there are 3 billion people in the world that play video games. 3 billion out of a global population of somewhere in the region of 7.8, I think we're at the minute. Did we pass the 8 billion threshold? I don't remember. Anyway, point is, like, the percentage of the population that actually play games now is significantly larger than it was 10 years ago, in large part due to mobile games. And so, following that trend and that monetization pathway isn't a bad thing. It's not inherently a bad thing. It's just one of those things that we also need to recognize can go too far when it comes to our actual PC, console, proper video game, rather than just the mobile game. You see what I mean? Taking the monetization strategy is not...
But it goes
completely transferable.
It goes a little bit further than that, because like there's companies that are like, you know, taking console mechanics or taking mobile phone like game mechanics, putting them into like regular PC games, you know, just thinking, oh, because it's on a very, very popular and very, you know, successful mobile game, it's going to work perfectly fine in a regular console, a regular PC game or console game. Like things like the sort of like autoplay mechanics, right? Or the autoplay features, right? The autoplay features on mobile games make sense because, you know, as Hero Maxim in chat says, mobile games capitalize on the found time. Like, you know, you're playing it, you know, when you say you're on public transport or when you have 5 minutes of time, that kind of thing. And sometimes in those moments, you're in a situation where you can't really play for a few moments because you're getting up, you're exiting the bus or whatever, the underground, the train or whatever, right? And you can't concentrate on something specifically, so you quickly turn on the autoplay feature that autoplays it until you can switch it back off again and carry on playing, right? That makes no sense in a game where you're sitting down and playing it for like 45, like you're at a gaming session and playing it for like, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours or something like that.
It's
stupid.
Guys,
Starscream! Starscream says Eric's asleep. He's not. He's playing a mobile game.
See, I was about to suggest that we should
he might be asleep,
quietly to not wake Eric up.
No.
But no, here comes Stark screaming right into the microphone.
He was glancing at the screen, at the camera, before I spoke up there. He's just playing a mobile game.
Also, Eric,
he's like,
I'm not. I'm just
that I'm quiet. So, yeah,
you are talking a little quiet, but no. I was I was scrolling through looking at some Eve topics on my cell phone here. I was not sleeping. When I look down, I think it looks like my eyes are closed, but
it did look a little bit like that. You look comfortable.
Here is Eric, you know, in sleep mode right here. Okay, this is I'm listening, but I'm just resting my eyes. See, old people, we're not sleeping. Old people don't sleep.
Resting your eyes, yes.
Just resting our eyes like this. You know, the old people in the audience will know I'm right. Right? It's like
Eric. See, I know that. I do that.
Yeah.
I rest my eyes sometimes.
Rest my eyes. Yeah. It's like you're there at the movies, TV's on, right? The whole family's watching TV. You're like, oh, Dad's sleeping. No, I'm just resting my eyes. I'm hearing everything going on here, right? It's like ASMR, right? It's like the original version of that. We just listen to movies right here. We just get in our lounge chair. Old people are allowed to do that. It's like a rite of passage, right? Preparing for the long nap. Yeah, no. But yeah. By the way,
you're limbering up for the actual sleep. You know.
Yeah. It's pre-sleep.
Oh yeah.
Pre-sleep, right? No.
And we had a wild Bargus come in as well.
I will say that
he has been here a while. He's just been quiet.
I mean,
the weekend.
He's here. Yeah. I did mention the Macarial, so he has to come in and defend himself.
Wait, sorry, what Macarial?
Is this the thing? You mentioned
Macarial. Oh, Bargos is here.
You mentioned Macarial 3 times, and Bargos just has to suddenly appear out of
No,
nowhere.
wow, horrendous. Not yet, Starscream.
This is where the way Soth gets it is like he mails it to me, and then I take it to Soth the next time I see him, because Barghost won't come to any of the places that we all go to together because he's terrible.
Yeah, I'm bad.
He is coming.
I am planning to.
No, you are coming.
And then
you're not planning. You are.
Yeah, no, there's a level of just do.
Yeah. There needs to be money allocated.
There is no try. Do or do not. There is no try.
All right, Yoda.
But anyway, so yeah, I would not be surprised if the way Soth gets his Macarial is because it's been sent to me and I just put it in my baggage. At this point,
I hope to see the confused faces of the people who scan your baggage. By the way, Dirk, like when it goes to the X-ray. The fuck is that?
See, we actually looked into because if he sends it via mail, I kind of have to declare how expensive it is. Which it's 3D printed, so it's about $350.
Yeah. No, to be honest, I'm not doing much tomorrow. I've got to clean some of the shit that stuck to the bottom of it off, and then it's mostly it done. Maybe put some primer over the front bits.
As for my baggage check, the last time I went through airport security with a bag, it had well, to be fair, I did check the bag, but it had a bunch of beer and a bottle of whiskey in it, and that just didn't get any sort of question at all. So,
well, I remember someone going home from Amsterdam once who had an actual blunt in his bag and forgot about it.
Yeah, see,
yeah, that stuff has happened.
There was a level of that for Amsterdam 2017. Was it 2017 that AG3 was having issues, or was it 2019?
No, it was 17, I believe.
Yeah, okay. Because that year, Caleb and Jintan and I ended up at the airport going, oh god, we need to get rid of the rest of this, these substances before we try and travel anywhere, because we can't take them through the airport. We're there in the airport car park, at the smoking area, to be fair, like, passing this blunt around, and some random Dutch guy comes up to us and goes, hey, you know you're not supposed to be smoking that here. And we're like, what? Yeah, no, Amsterdam Airport is technically outside of the area that you can legally do that.
Well, he's also wrong there, because you can't do it legally anywhere in Amsterdam because it's actually not legal. It's
I know, but it was that bit of like,
wait, what?
In terms of the area that they don't
tend to prosecute people for,
that they don't have issues with. Apparently, the airport does not fall under that sort of like, no, we don't care about it. And this was some random dude who was just trying to give us a heads up. It wasn't as if it was like an airport official or anything. So we just carried on burning through the rest of what we had, which was not insignificant. I think we smoked through about 4 blunts in the time that we were in that airport car park. But like, yeah, it was that bit of like, yeah, we need to get rid of this before we even try to get on a plane.
That's probably why it's not legal there, because you're not the first one to have that idea.
Exactly.
And then people have caused problems on the plane.
But you can be damn sure we weren't going to just bin it.
You can always do it the charitable way and just hand it to someone.
Yeah.
Somebody else at the airport getting onto a plane. Yes, that sounds like a really good idea.
Absolutely. Well, it's like taking a couple shots before you get on the plane. Is it that big a deal? I don't know.
You know what?
Nap. I wasn't
this
napping,
comes back to-
Hurricane. I was looking at my phone. Sorry, but I was not playing a mobile game. I was not playing.
This comes back to on the airport thing. You know what I never struggle to find in an airport, McLeod?
Alcohol.
A Bloody Mary.
A Bloody Mary.
A date.
I can always get a Bloody Mary in an airport.
A golf ball.
Always.
Golf ball. There. Golf ball.
Right.
There's a golf ball here on my desk at all times. Sorry.
He's probably also got a tee on his desk. But yeah.
You know what? I don't. Or maybe I do. Come on, let me check.
Eric is always ready for tea time.
Holy
However,
shit.
it's not.
Not what I would call tea time, though.
Golf tea.
I told you.
Golf tea. Casa de Oro sponsored golf teas. Yes, I do. I do have golf teas. So.
Eric, literally always ready for tea time. Hey, Tam Tam, by the way. Tam Tam showing up in Twitch chat once again. I think we're all doing pretty well.
Yeah. I'm chilling.
Chilling. Now I gotta make all this noise. Put all these pens back in,
And apparently Soft is still too quiet.
Soft loves the noise.
So Chad is asking if you could raise Soth's volume by 20%. I would recommend doing that inside of Discord. Like, literally just right-click.
Just whack it right up.
Probably has me down to 80%.
Yeah.
10%.
You never
So
know.
He's
I
so
keep you
angry.
105 actually, Soth. So
Let me see.
105.
Yeah.
Let's see where Soth is at.
Specific amount.
I do actually have you at 150%, actually. So.
I mean, in comparison, I keep McLeod at 88. So,
Okay.
88 miles an hour.
164%.
There, I'll give him 118%. Why don't you talk for us, Soth?
Hello.
God,
this is a
does
test.
he have to?
Is that better, everybody?
So I do want to throw open a question.
I'm gonna hold on. I get it. Okay, go ahead, talk. I'm taking it. Resting.
I'm gonna come back to. I'm gonna come back to this developer's letter and this SOV change that they are vaguely hinting at, and then not being very subtle. I wanna just point out first up, they're talking about changing resources and technology in nullsec, and they're being very vague and kind of sort of hinting at a SOV change maybe, but also maybe just changes to mining and what have you. And then they drop in a link to the sov.space map.
I like the fact that they actually reference a third-party sovereignty map made by players, because I've always used it. It's a great resource. It's been a resource that has been like basically consistent for the longest fucking time. Like, there's timelines on YouTube as, basically charting through years, like 15 years of like Eve, showing the changes in the sovereignty, like through 15 years of Eve Online, that kind of thing. It's fantastic.
The historical SOV maps are a great tool.
Yeah, they are really good.
Like it's that bit of CCP are talking around and around the issue in a paragraph, and then they link the SOV map and like subtlety. they were trying to be quiet and vague and soft, step softly, and then they just go, "Here's the SOV map." Like,
there's a problem.
One thing is certain: the value of owning and defending space is set to rise. Like, how much more obvious can you be without just saying, "Hey, we're going to change SOV this year"?
I don't know. I don't think they're going to be changing SOV. I think so. This is something that like CCP has been kind of saying but not saying for I almost feel like so fucking long. But they've always had this sort of idea that they've been hinting at as like essentially a new structure that you can deploy in a system that allows you very much like an iHub, right? Where you launch an iHub, and then once you have the iHub, you can attach modules to it that add certain things, right? They add certain, defensive capabilities. They add certain things. Like one of the things that you can attach to an iHub is the ability for that system to generate more wormholes, right? Like it's a very rarely used thing. I remember
everyone hates it.
I remember everybody hated it, but I also remember that Init played around with it in Cloud Ring, basically as to utilize Cloud Ring as a place for us to find many wormholes in order for us to basically go and poke at the rest of Eve very easily. That was sort of our utilization of it, that kind of thing. Very, very niche case. But like I've heard, and I've been struggling to actually find specific examples of them saying it, kind of thing. But like basically a structure that is specifically there to create and tailor the system to be very particular in a certain way. So to sort of like very much like wormhole effects kind of thing.
That's a conceptual idea that they've talked about a few times at various fanfests. It was also talked about, if you go back to 2016, I think, the FanFest, and you take a look at...
Yeah, I think I was looking at the keynotes in 19, 18, and 17. I didn't go to 16.
Yeah.
So
if you go back to 2016 and 2015, when they were actually starting to introduce the idea of upwell structures, there was a whole lot of talk about making systems a lot more variable. So, for example, right? Like there was an idea that was raised at the time, and I see people in Twitch chat talking about it in terms of the TCU being useless. There was an idea where the TCU the functionality would basically be merged with an iHub, and the new structure would actually be an upwell structure that was designed to claim a system, but could be assaulted in a lot more of a dynamic way compared to Intosis shit. And as we all know, Sothrisel loves Intosising things, especially in his Varga. But but these ideas have been floating around for a hell of a long time. And actually, if you go and take a look at the history of Eve's nullsec space and owning nullsec space, there's generally been a Sov revamp every 5 to 6 years. Up until
we are due one.
Up until the last Sov change to Aegis, and Aegis happened back in 2015, and we're now nearly, we're now sort of on the way to 9 years of Aegis Sov, and everyone kind of hates it, but it's sort of like fine for what we need it to do. Ish. So like it's that bit of like everybody knows how Aegis works now, and nobody wants CCP to make it worse. So nobody wants them to touch it at the same time as we all want Sov to change.
We don't want to collectively put together a letter and say the Sov system needs to change, because the last time we did that, the Sov system ended up changing to the Aegis Sov system, and we were like, oh fuck.
Nah, the last time we did a letter that the Sov system needs to change was about Aegis Sov.
Was it about Aegis Sov? I thought it was about Dominion Sov.
Yes, it was. I signed that fucking letter.
Oh, okay.
It was about Aegis Sov in 2016 after they released it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, when they released it, it was kind of in an unfinished state,
to be
right?
fair, they did implement a lot of the changes that we asked for exactly how we asked for them, without acknowledging the letter at all.
Nodes.
Right? And also on a timeline that was a lot longer than we wanted.
Yeah, wasn't the main point reduce the number of nodes? Jesus fuck.
No, the main point was take those fucking Jesus lasers off scepters. Are you fucking idiot?
Oh, idiot. yeah, okay. That's also a good fucking point.
And then we got Jesus lasers on faxes, which was a whole different problem that came later because they made capital changes after the fact and didn't think about how we would use it for Sov. But the point is, like, we've been kind of overdue for a soft change, and everybody's been kind of thinking, hey, we're happy for CCP to look at us too hard, because if CCP look at us too hard, we might get scarcity, but for Sov. And so,
yeah, because that was also one of the scepter hackings and stuff was also one of the main reasons why the proper true name to the Aegis Sov system was FozzySov, because it was also the time where Fozzy was like, yeah, we're just going to give interceptors bubble immunity. It's fine. This will be fine. Don't worry about it. It's going to be all right. Like,
don't worry about it. Nothing to see here. It'll be okay.
What could possibly go wrong,
right?
So we are in a weird situation of, like, we're about due. One thing that I'm very concerned about with the idea of a new Sov system,
I think we're just going to get an amendment to it, but
is like, all right, let me just play this out a little bit. We get a whole new Sov system. The thing that I'm really worried about is the fact that under the current paradigm of CCP's test servers, we won't be able to test a new Sov system to give them feedback in the same way as we did back when they made the changes from, I forget what it was before Aegis. It was SBU period.
Yeah, Dominion.
No, it was Dominion.
Dominion, yes.
Where it was POS related, right? Yeah.
Oh no, yeah. Well, before Dominion, it was something else. But it was basically, who has the most amount of pauses on moons.
Yeah. So anyway, we got to test that very hard. They opened up. Was it Buckingham or was it?
It was Buckingham. Yeah.
Yeah, and they opened up a test server entirely just for the purpose of testing the new Sov system, and they got a bunch of feedback, and they still broke it on launch. But, like, under the current paradigm, we don't even have singularity test a new Sov system before it goes live, and they break everything. So that's my
right.
That's bad.
We're not doing this again, Soth.
Streamer Wars.
What have I missed?
Soth is making a reference to the fact that sometime before major releases, EVE partners now get like 3 days on Singularity as VIP to, like, take a look, make content, and see what's going on before it actually drops. Under
what?
Yeah, I'm failing to come up with a word at this point.
When
a journalist has a news story and they can't release it until a certain under embargo, right?
Yeah.
So the partners are all embargoed from releasing anything about this upcoming release, and it's only happened 3 times in the last year, or 3 times since they closed Singularity, which was like 9 months ago, something like that.
They should still be able to, say, oh, CCP, thank you very much for letting us sort of test this stuff out, but, like, there are some seriously bad things that you need to fix real quick before this releases, etc., etc. They can still communicate that with CCP.
Absolutely.
They just can't say it in an open forum.
The issue there, the issue, Soth gets angry about the fact that certain people get access under embargo to see this stuff before it gets released.
Yeah.
And other people don't, and that's a fair point, fair criticism. But it's not as if it's like, oh, you're an EVE partner, you can go on Singularity whenever the hell you want and do whatever the hell you want. Is my point. And so
it's still kind of bullshit. It's supposed to be a fucking test server, so we can test things, right? And just think about all of the
wider concept I agree with,
where we actually tested shit and actually found major issues that could then be, theoretically, if it wasn't CCP, be patched out before release, right?
And that was what I was driving at.
Just think about back to when they put the changes to faxes so that you would get a stacking, like, reverse effect on your reps, right? We actually tested that on Singularity and found out that in the same patch, they had accidentally broken that you can't wrap Dread smaller in Siege. So all of a sudden, you can wrap Dreads in Siege, right? Which is a major fuck-up, right? And if we wouldn't have found that, just think about how many fights would have gone a very different way, because all of a sudden, hey, I can wrap this fax.
I want to point out,
especially
I
if
want to
groups
point out
have
that it
knowledge
did
about
make
that,
it to the it did make it to the live server for about 3 days.
Yeah,
but the other kind of thing, but the other kind of thing is like,
but this is my point.
Yeah,
like if they're going to change the solve system, we need to be able to test it and test it hard before it goes live.
Yeah,
but it also needs to make sure that, like, you know, that the people who are allowed to do the testing aren't just the privileged few, because then.
Well,
I've seen this, like, you know, when it comes to sort of, you know,
also
games that become
point,
beta and release, like a lot of like vested interest groups will not actually say, oh, here's a game breaking bug, by the way, devs, etc., etc. They'll wait until the game releases so that they can utilize that game breaking bug to their advantage until that game breaking bug actually gets, like, you know, fixed, right? But they get that advantage for a certain period of time because they haven't actually shared the, you know, that kind of you know, that feedback with the devs until the actual game launches. So, you know, allowing only a privileged few to basically test this stuff out on Sissy kind of almost incentivizes people who do find bugs, like the one that Soth kind of says, you know, it was mentioning, you know, it incentivizes them to keep that to themselves until the game releases, until that patch releases, so they can actually get that advantage for their
When
group.
I say we, I mean, you know, we the community. I don't mean we the small number of EVE partners within the community or whatever. Like, I mean that for a new solve system especially, I'd actually support them breaking out Buckingham again, for example, or one of the other test servers. They've got like fucking 5 of them or something.
And sometimes also
it's a difficult thing for them to do.
We are counting Thunderdome as a test server here, which at this point it's not.
But the other kind of thing is is scale and length of time for testing is also a very important thing, because like there's some things that don't rear its head as a like potentially game-breaking issue for a certain period of time, right? And if the period of time for testing is too short for that to sort of to you know,
for a solve
to make
system,
itself
it needs
known.
to be 3 months.
Yeah, but what I'm thinking, and I think there's a few people in chat who also have said it, is chances are any new solve system will be based around the faction warfare system that we have at the moment. So,
I mean that they have hinted that.
There's a degree of already being tested, you know, live on the server anyway.
Yes,
we don't want faction warfare in solve space.
It depends what they do. They can twist.
It depends what they do.
Adapt it, right?
Yeah,
but the problem is, any adaptation will need further testing, right?
Yeah.
Now, my biggest problem, if they try to adapt it, is how completely out of whack faction warfare is at the moment. It is so heavily stacked in favor of the pirates that it's just become a joke.
What?
Well, that's also another thing as well, because
CCP's director letter said that everyone thinks it's awesome. What are you talking about?
Well, I think a recent patch has kind of accentuated the thing that people don't like at the moment.
That's
like
made it worse.
It was a patch on Tuesday, right?
Yeah. So I'll put it this way: I'm not going to name names.
Do it.
I know.
Oh, go on. You know it gets much more spicier if you do.
Yeah. No, because I don't want to put targets on the backs of groups.
All right then.
But also, I'm going to say that this isn't just a singular group I refer to. There is one that I'm good friends with, and there is others I speak to. All of them are in HiSec 0.5 for the moons that is adjacent to faction warfare space, and they have all been hit repeatedly. They were struggling to keep up with it before, because it's when they enlist, it is that weighted in favour of the pirates that it takes them 3 days to try and get their suppression to level 4. And overnight, the pirates come in and get... what's the pirate term for it? I can't remember.
Corruption.
Corruption to 5.
Yeah.
Overnight. So it's 3 days of effort and then just, boom, 5. Now your structures are at risk.
Yeah.
But
Like,
aren't they changing it that if you have a winning streak, you need more and more to keep
No,
winning?
but
that's
it's
worse.
basically
That's worse.
It's incentivizing people to roll groups even harder. Like,
So before, the only thing saving their structures was the fact that the insurgencies ended before the final timer.
yeah, or it
Now
stopped
when
at a
this-
certain point. Like,
Yeah, now when they have this winning streak, and because it's pirates always having a winning streak, it will always be theirs ticking up. You get to the point of, we don't know if there's a upper cap, right? So it could become that pirates have to get 23 systems to win. That's going to take 2, 3, 4 weeks. Structures will die. Lots of structures will die.
It's kind of like when we moved from Dominion Sov to Aegis Sov, and people were like, "Well, shit! Like in this new Sov system, the attackers have huge amounts of advantages, right?" There was a lot of discussion about the attacker's advantage in Aegis Sov versus what it was like in as a defender in Dominion Sov, and imagine that, but then instead of CCP kind of going, well, maybe we should change this so it's not as insane. Like instead of that, like consider CCP going completely the opposite direction and just going, no, the attackers need to have even more advantage. Like that's what's kind of going on with this.
It's that bit where these people on the border systems in HiSec just aren't going to want to be in the border systems at all because they're just so at risk potentially of an insurgency at random.
Dirk. That's my point, Dirk. These groups of people that I know and talk to they were already considering it. That announcement Tuesday basically went, yeah, no, we need to move. We need to find 0.5 that's away from faction warfare because we cannot compete as it is. Any attempt to defend is hampered by other in-game mechanics that aren't bugs. Cough, cough, neutral logi. Fucking stupid
Jesus.
Mechanics. Yeah, apparently
the fact that you can't
if you try and rep your fleet, you get concorded.
So, well, you say apparently. This has been a thing that we've been talking about for years, and Horrendous has ranted on extensively. But for anybody in the audience who doesn't know, when in HiSec, you can only repair other people from within your own alliance, no matter whether or not you're in a fleet with them. So, if the Imperium, as a whole collective of fucking like 9 alliances or something at the minute, sends a fleet to HiSec, GSF members can only rep GSF members, Sigma Grindset members can only rep Sigma Grindset members, TNT members can only rep TNT members.
The problem is,
it gets even worse.
If you rep someone, you actually take over all their timers. So if if they
have a criminal timer, you are suddenly a criminal, and then you get concorded as a logi for repping
here.
So it's been fucked for a while.
It gets worse than it was, Dirk, because now even in Alliance, even in Corp, if that one person is in an Empire militia or a pirate militia, you can't rep them anymore. At all.
Oh, yes, that would happen.
These people who enlisted in Empire militias to try and do the suppression mechanics to defend their structures before it came to the point of ever being attacked, then can't go on fleets with the rest of their alliance to defend the structures once the structures are reinforced.
That's fucking hilarious.
So fucking absurd that this made it to live.
CCP. I mean, come on. I mean, I know that historically there's always been these major things that people just don't realize because the mechanics don't get talked about enough. But even I hadn't necessarily like plot that because you've got you've been listed
CCP.
and therefore you've got a status, you can't get repaired by somebody else who isn't also part of that militia,
and vice versa. Right?
I would add that kind of that fringe edge case, you know, that case that like would rarely ever crop up ever in any way, shape, or form.
I mean, to be fair,
probably wouldn't really, you know, cause too much of an issue if like if the system was basically dropped and put into nullsec, because like Concord doesn't exist in nullsec, so we don't have an issue there. But like, you know, the fact that it exists at the moment,
enforce it on highsec.
Yeah, but the fact that this exists in highsec and you know, with faction warfare, is an issue that they really should solve, because fucking hell.
Yes.
Jesus.
I'm pretending I'm here eating popcorn. I'm eating peanuts, but I'm pretending it's popcorn.
I mean, it looks fine. Yeah,
like we've been talking about the logic issue for a lot of time over the years since they introduced it, but this does really exacerbate that.
Do you want to know how it gets even worse still, Dirk?
Oh
God! Please do. Eric needs more things to eat popcorn to.
Yeah.
Anyone in Empire militias, when they're in these systems, can't do it, right? For whatever dumb fucking reason there is. But people in pirate militias, when it goes level 5, corruption, can all do it perfectly fine.
Oh God.
Wait, what?
So they can rep, but the other team
there's
can't.
some weirdness that I've heard that's going on where pirate militias can get away with it, but Empire militias can't.
Now, see, that sounds like that sounds like more of a bug.
Working as intended.
Working as intended.
Was that the official line from CC?
I'm going to mute here real
That
quick.
is my understanding of the line when people have complained. Yes.
Like the whole bit of people in different enlisted militias can't rep each other, that sounds like a second order effect of the rep thing that is just kind of fucked just generally, but CCP won't change it. But the fact that pirates can do it sounds like a bug on the same second order effect.
Nope, it just clicks to me what it is. Pirates are all in the same militia, right?
Not necessarily. They sign up with
if they're in a war
with Angel,
one militia.
You have.
You're in Angels. You're in Angels, right?
Yeah.
What is it when you're on the Empire side of Angels?
I mean, whatever.
What if you're a Mara or Minmatar?
Yep. So they can't rep between each other. So even when they try to team up, they can't help each other.
Divide and conquer, my friend.
I mean,
as much as part of me wants to say, this sounds cool because it is divide and conquer. It's playing the empires off each other. It's like, yeah, but game mechanics then just go no when you hit the
The rep mechanic was fucked to start with, and it continues to be fucked, is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
No, that's it.
It is fucked beyond belief, and it is not the highest extent of the problem, right? It is so much worse.
And it's not fucked in a good way.
No.
In a bad way.
If it was fun
way.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's not like, good pizza, bad pizza, even bad pizza is still good. This is like
but hey, just as Cheetah said in chat, like at least it's not boot.ini. Right?
Yeah, apparently.
Jesus.
Like, honestly, this is pushing.
No, it's
groups that have been pretty chill with where they are for years to have to seriously look at moving, and most have already started doing it.
Yeah, I think
it's not going to be easy for the game, honestly.
Yeah, it's like on the whole, the faction warfare update revamp, rework has been like really fucking good comparatively to what we had previously. Like, there's no getting away from that. Like, it's been fantastic in that regard. But like, niggling issues will crop up because you get to experience the all the intricacies of the mechanics and the bugs that come with it, and eventually people will find the bugs and utilize the bugs, right, to their advantage or disadvantage. And CCP just has to bite the bullet and actually do some dev work and quash these bugs, and not just look at them and go, no, it's fine, it's working as intended, because
and that's the
this
issue.
seems completely ludicrous if this is intended.
Working as intended in terms of how it was designed is fine. Working as intended, but also being completely fucked from a player experience side of things, not fine. And CCP needs to find a line between, hey, yeah, we kind of intended this, and some people are complaining it's not great, sure, but then also like we did this, and it's kind of broken. Like the way the rep thing is working is kind of broken.
To some degree, it can be seen as not an issue with mechanics, but an issue with players understanding the mechanics that they're getting involved in, right? So there could be one way could be to basically remove the mechanic or edit the mechanics so that the issue isn't an issue anymore, if it's not a bug, right? Or the other kind of way is to just, better tell and better inform players that are getting involved in faction warfare and making fleets to defend certain things, that they may not be able to rep certain people because of certain mechanics, right?
The issue there is that this isn't just a mechanic people are getting involved in.
They have already gotten
when it's
involved
encroaching into high sec, it is being enforced on people who.
Yeah, I do get that. Like,
to have a casual, okay, I'm away from all the faction warfare. I didn't want to partake in that. I didn't want to partake in no. I want to chill in high sec and do whatever we do.
Yeah.
And they're being forced into using these mechanics. And don't get me wrong, the initial reaction from many of them that I saw was, okay, if this means we have to form a PvP wing, we'll do it.
There's a level of... There's always a level of... We are trying to be chill, we're trying to be just do our own thing, but if we have to adapt to a particular thing, like a war deck, fine.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's that bit where you kind of cross from, okay, this is me chilling with a side of PvP every couple months, to, God, I'm getting hit by this every 4 other weeks. Yeah.
I know one group's already been hit twice. Barely survived the last one, and then this mechanic changes. Yeah, they aren't surviving the next one. And that's the irritation. It's gone from, right, we can set up a PvP wing, we can deal with it. That also gives us experience for if a war deck comes our way.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can just do the suppression side of it, right? We can do that. And then the neutralogy issue hits. And then Tuesday's devlog hits, and it's like, no. This is taking it from just casual play to we're being forced into the mechanic. So we're moving. I guess adapt works in many ways, as we pointed out during scarcity, right? Players adapt or die off out the way.
Yeah.
I would say like we are getting kind of close to time wise. But Brisk, maybe the world's smallest violin might be playing for the High Sec Care Bears, but High Sec Care Bears and High Sec Care Bear and player groups are the, they are the, star factories of player groups that end up in nullsec and end up shaping the game for the next generation, that kind of thing. So like,
I am reminded that Aerith historically in CCP's book has been a High Sec Care Bear.
Right.
And I would
we were all High Sec Care Bears at one point. Every nullsec kind of leader in the game have all started in High Sec at one point. So.
I mean, most of the people in a couple of these groups I know have null alts. This is just to do some High Sec shit on the side when they don't have the motivation to do it on a weekend, right? So they're not even shit at PvP. It's just the mechanics are so heavily stacked away from them.
And I also note that we've been joined by the wonderful Tamba.
Yeah.
As well.
We showcased your lovely art last week, by the way. It was fantastic.
I missed that. I was out drinking with people instead.
That's fine. That's
No,
fine. You're being sociable.
No
You're being
dedication.
IRL sociable, so that's fine. How
No
dare you?
dedication.
We were planning for a meetup that's happening in Leeds in like fucking 6 weeks or something.
That's okay. I forgot the.
No, 10 weeks.
I had forgot the DC meetup, so I didn't go to it, or I would have been there. But
I mean, it sounded from Dawn that it was entirely possible that like everybody might have got arrested for participating in some coup d'etat stuff. So probably it was probably best that you weren't there.
Well, I wouldn't have been flying. I would have been driving through the bad weather. So there you go.
Yeah, definitely probably better that you weren't there then, because you might got fucking stuck by the sounds.
Should we do one last thing?
We should do one last thing.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. Taking a nap. You guys go right ahead.
You start us off then, McLeod, from the bottom up.
Okay. So I wanted to actually start out the show with this, but I'm going to end with I'm going to do this as my one last thing. But it was basically going to be an appeal that if you're a bear and you're looking for like meaningful encounters and experiences with others, I'd like to point out that Soth is specifically looking for bears right now to complete a quest in Tarkov.
Yes, I need 2 more bear dog tags, please.
God damn! I thought I was going somewhere else then.
I have a comment. Quick comment.
I mean, if you are a bear and looking for meaningful encounters, invite me to dinner first.
How the fuck did you think that was going in some different direction? I guess
I don't know. Maybe
by the way,
conversation at work this week.
It's freaking winter. The bears are hibernating. Okay.
By and large, Soth is not a fan of bears, as I've come to understand.
They've eaten all the salmon. They're hibernating now. There you go. All right. Who's next? Dirk?
From the bottom up, that would be Soth.
All right. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything to add to that.
Fair.
I kind of stole that one from you, so sorry about that.
I do want to point out that if you are looking to get into the Anger games, then you need to hurry up. There's only 7 spaces left for teams.
Here we go. Some Anger
and this is after we've had a team drop out already.
And how would they sign up?
Well, you just join the Discord and follow.
How do they join the Discord, Soth?
Yeah, might want to link it in chat,
they click
brother.
this link in Twitch chat.
There we go. Look at this.
There you go.
There you go.
We go.
Like, Soth just says things. I have the prep done.
I say things, yes.
Worst event promoters ever. I mean, you guys can promote.
My job isn't to promote the event. My job is to run the event, okay?
If you guys were like, you can promote U2 on tour and they wouldn't sell any seats. I mean,
it's U2. We want them to sell.
I love U2. All right. Bargos. Dirk, it's your turn. Dirk.
Where did my one last thing go?
You talked the whole fucking time. I don't even know why you think you need one last time, but go ahead.
And to raise things that we haven't got around to talking about already. That's the entire point. I'm coming back to this director's letter one last time to note that they did give us a rough roadmap, things that they want to do in 2024. And very interesting thing to me is the fact that aside from including mining in EVE Vanguard before they give us extra guns or different classes of character or anything like that,
I definitely.
we're getting mining first because that's a priority. In the roadmap, there are significant chunks allocated to EVE Vanguard playtests. So in Q4, there's a winter expansion coming for EVE, and then there's a segment for Vanguard playtests. In Q3, the only things that they include in the roadmap are the Alliance tournament and the Vanguard playtests. Like, this is a roadmap that's split up into kind of like 5 distinct chunks for each quarter, and like 3/5 of it is for Vanguard playtest. So, if you're interested in an EVE shooter that wants you to be mining before it wants you to be doing other things with guns or classes,
yeah, it wants you to mine before it wants you to shoot.
Get hyped about that.
I mean, I guess Firebrand was right. High-set Care Bears can go to Vanguard.
But yeah, other than that, Vanguard has a playtest coming up next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything new going to be in this playtest?
They've made balancing changes, which means that they've spent a month figuring out how to tweak the number of bullets it takes to kill somebody.
They said something about something persisting across sessions, and I'm not sure whether they mean like
no, that's not coming in this
keybinds. Like,
it's not this patch.
I hope they fixed the keybinds. Issue.
The persisting thing was in regards to weapon modding and loadouts.
Yeah.
Because right now we don't have loadouts because there only is one, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like I say, mining is coming in March. The loadouts thing, you can maybe change your weapon in June.
No, you can't change your weapon. You can mod your weapon.
Right. You can alter, right? When I said change your weapon, I meant you could change the weapon that you have to do something different. I didn't mean
to the
you
mining
could
laser.
take another weapon.
It must be really hard to put like a sniper rifle, a DMR, and an SMG in.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, give me something that I can have like a 3-round burst and a 2x magnification on. Like, how hard is that? But there we have it. So yeah, the interesting thing is like so much of Q3 in the CCP roadmap is given over to Vanguard playtests. That's kind of my thing that we didn't get to.
I mean, I think we're definitely going to talk about Vanguard like next show, like next week.
Vanguard playtest 25th through the 29th of January. It's Vanguard. You know what it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're done with Dirk's 6-minute long one last thing. Okay.
Fuck off, Eric.
Bargos?
I don't have much to say.
Thank God. Oh my God. After Dirk, I don't know what we could do.
Get your ass in gear and change the whole fact war stuff. Like,
or at least fix and amend it.
Fix and amend it, yes.
Yeah.
It is, as good as it seems, it is so heavily weighted in favor of pirates that it is basically a bot farm dream and nothing else at this point.
There you go.
Yeah, it's gonna trend back into the point where people who look at it and go, oh, this looks like interesting gameplay, will come in and just be like, oh, it's not interesting gameplay because it's just being bot farmed to hell and back. And strangely enough, that would basically mirror the same experience that somebody going into faction warfare with the best of intentions before they did all the changes, right? So
yeah.
One last thing, actually, before we kind of
one last thing on the one last thing is I haven't actually got anything from Brisk yet, but he was in chat, so I imagine that there is going to be a meta show in an hour or just under an hour, 50 minutes or so. I'm not quite sure what they're going to be doing, but I imagine they're probably going to be waxing lyrical about the DC meetup in some way, shape, or form. But yeah,
more stories about airports.
Yeah, more stories about airports.
More stories about airports. Well, Brisk didn't need to use an airport. He just had to pay $800 to the toll charge to get into town.
Yeah, so probably some of that.
All right. So my one last thing is really super easy and super quick. I just get to say happy birthday to the number one son. We're all going out to dinner after this. So we're all.
Are you going anywhere nice?
We're going.
No,
to...
I thought you go shithole.
No, yeah, no. We're going.
Questions that.
My children very much like Asian food. My parents do not, so we're not taking my parents. It's just us, and number one's new girlfriend. So we're gonna meet her for the first time. So,
right.
Hey, very exciting.
When I said, "Are you going somewhere nice?" I mean, are you going somewhere kind of like upmarket, fancy? Like, there's some great hole in the walls, Mac, but like sometimes you splash out. So I was like, are you going somewhere nice, or are you going somewhere that's just like good and, you know, reasonable?
It's
it's not like, you know, it doesn't have $4 signs, right? But no, it's a nice place.
So right. I love the presumption to that particular line. That's all. It's like,
alrighty.
You know.
So that's the show. By the way, and we forgot in the beginning to do the show date and all that shit, but, you know, too bad.
Yeah, they'll deal with it. It's fine.
Yeah, deal with it. All right. Everybody, you have a wonderful and safe weekend, and we will see you back here next weekend. Mm-hmm. All right. And by the way, you know,
what?
Got to go to the, actually, unlike last week, we will actually transition to the outro.
Oh, wow.
See you later.